Hello guys! I'm excited to be here doing another live video, and this is our second one, so I think I'm just going to keep doing these every Thursday night, probably right around the same time, 8:30. If there's any changes, if I'm not going to be around that day, or if I just need to change the time, just check out my Happy Lady Facebook page, and that's where I'll put updates or any changes, so you can always check and make plans before you miss the video. So I'm excited. Tonight we are going to talk about whatever is on your mind. So if you happen to join in, or if this is your first time seeing one of these videos, just know that you can ask me anything. So it doesn't necessarily have to be things that are in my workshops or in my books, or even have to do with how to be happy. Anything that's on your mind, anything that's, getting in the way of things for you, getting in the way of life, getting in the way of the flow of your life, just questions, maybe things that you've wondered about. If I have the answers or I can give you any advice, I'm here to serve you. So I'm happy to help. So in the meantime, I'm just going to go ahead and talk about some things that are on my mind, and kind of wanted to pick up as where we left off last week. So I always do that. My mind's always going, and after last week's video, I had a lot of thoughts, and so had to write them down, and thought definitely this week I wanted to point some of those out. But anyways, again, for those who are just going to be tuning in soon, know that you can pop in at any time and interrupt me. You can ask questions at any time, and even if I am not, if you get this video later, and say you get it tonight or tomorrow, go ahead and comment, "Hey Jenny, glad to see ya." Go ahead and just comment and put whatever your questions are, and then I'll definitely address them in next week's video. So don't feel bad if I don't get to your questions today, or if you get this video late. I'm gonna help you however I can. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was, after last week, was that whole food thing, the whole topic of food and vibrations. I think there's so much to it, and I know I mentioned last week, and people wondered, how does that work? You know, she was saying that you put your vibrations, you put these frequencies into your food, and that will affect the outcome of what that food does for you. So whether the food will be a benefit to you, or whether it will be harmful for you. And I know it sounds crazy, but there's a lot more to it. So I wanted to point out the opposite end. I know last time I talked about brownies, and how when you're feeling guilty about eating something, you put that guilt frequency into your food, and that guilt frequency is a very low vibration. So you're infusing those low vibrations into your body, and that's actually bringing your entire vibration down. So it's just something to be aware of. It's that time of year when we have barbecues and summer parties, and it's something to be aware of. It's definitely gonna make a difference if you can be aware when you're doing it. The other thing, though, is on the opposite end of it. On the opposite end of it, if you're eating super healthy, and as you're eating, you're thinking, "Oh my goodness, I feel so deprived," or "There's no way this is going to fill me up. I don't think this tastes good. This isn't what I really want to eat right now, but I have to eat it anyways." So kind of like, I have to, I don't want to. When you have that attitude and you're putting those vibrations into that food, whether it's celery or kale or whatever it is, you're taking something healthy, but you're putting a low vibration into it. So again, you're eating, but you're not always getting the results that you want or feeling the way that you want afterwards. And it all comes down to something so simple. It just comes down to the vibration. So be very aware going this day forward throughout the summer, what you're eating. If you're putting love into that, and appreciation and gratitude, those are the frequencies that you're going to put into you. And so you're either going to be lifting them or lowering them. And that's huge. So I'm going to share a personal example that's kind of funny that happened to me this week. And I'm not saying that this is something I recommend. It was just an interesting thing that I noticed. So there was a couple days this week where I swear I had ice cream back to back, 2 or 3 times a day. We had events and activities, and there was always ice cream. And had it been, a few weeks prior, I'd have been feeling very guilty, and I would have probably been second guessing, should I even be eating this? And if I would have decided to eat it, I probably would have been thinking, oh, what's this doing to my body? Now I'm going to have to do a double workout tonight, you know, right? And so, yeah, I know in the past that I would feel really bad afterwards, and then the next day I'd look in the mirror and think, oh, I can see what this did to me, and I don't feel good. And but this time I decided to be aware of my feelings. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to enjoy this ice cream. It's not like I'm overdoing it and indulging and eating 3 helpings of it, right? But, oh, it says my connection is weak. Darn it. I hope you guys can hear me okay. I know sometimes when the connection is weak, it'll jump in and out. So I hope that's not what's happening right now. It's so hard with technology. You just never know what you're going to get. Anyways, if it's choppy, let me know and I'll go outside or we'll go somewhere else. But anyways, so I had ice cream and I was telling myself, you know what, this tastes really good. And I can't remember the last time I had a scoop of chocolate ice cream. This is really good, and I'm so grateful that these nice friends of mine provided this ice cream. And hey, Whitney! And you know, I'm so grateful they provided this ice cream. This was such a nice thing for them to do, and I'm so grateful. So I put out those frequencies into this ice cream, and I really enjoyed it. And what's really funny is over the next couple days, I lost 2 pounds. And I know my calories went up from that ice cream. So I had to kind of laugh and think, you know what, there's a lot of truth to that. You put those good frequencies and good feelings and thoughts into what you're putting into your body, and it can make all the difference. So anyways, just some food for thought, right? So last thing I wanted to talk about with this whole food thing was, you know, you hear a lot of times people will say, what is your secret ingredient? Oh, thank you, Whitney. You're so sweet. Anyways, you'll hear, what's the secret ingredient that went into this recipe? And people will say, oh, it's just love. I made it with love. Or grandma makes her food with love. That's her secret ingredient. That's what makes it taste so good. You hear that all the time, right? There is truth to that. And another little experience I want to share with you. Monday night this week, we were running low on food, and it was, you know, grocery week. And I didn't have a lot of options, and usually when you don't have a lot of options, you make spaghetti, right? At least in our family, if you're getting spaghetti, you know we're out of food. But something told me I'm not going to make just the normal spaghetti. I'm going to really put love into the spaghetti and make it something really, really tasty. And so, you know, in the past, I would have just thrown some noodles in the pot, made some sauce, not put much thought into it, definitely no love into it, right? But this time around, I went out to the garden and I picked fresh herbs. I put those in the pasta sauce, and I tried to do some different things. I fried the noodles in olive oil. I know I put this on my other Facebook page and I shared. And I went down to the basement and got bottled tomatoes from our garden from last year. And I just spent a lot of extra time into this dinner. And by the time I served it, oh my gosh, the kids were so hungry, but they said, Mom, this is the best spaghetti we've ever had. What did you put in this? And of course, you can guess my answer. It was love. And I promise you that's what it was. And that spaghetti, I made so much of it. It lasted us 3 days. And usually when we have leftovers, the kids aren't so happy about it the next day, especially the 3rd day. But this time, they were loving it. It tasted so good. And every time we would eat it, we would get really happy. And I know it was those positive vibrations that were in there. So lastly, I want to point out that I believe this is why we bless our food. And I know sometimes kids, or my kids would ask me, you know, why do we bless our food? Why is that so important? But when you're asking that blessing upon your food, what you're really doing when you say, please bless it will nourish and strengthen us, or be good for us, or we can enjoy it, or whatnot, you're changing the vibrations of that food. You're putting in those positive frequencies, heavenly frequencies, and so that when you eat that food, it is going to be nourishing you, it is going to be strengthening you, and it is going to be increasing your overall happiness and well-being. And so yes, we should even bless when you're at those church parties and all there is cake or sundaes. Yes, bless it. Bless it. There's no harm in blessing it because it'll only do you good to put those positive frequencies in. So, hey Jenny, glad to see you back. So anyways, like I said, at any point, you guys, if the connection's bad, because I know this happened on another one of my pages, the video went out and it was shaky and I had no idea. So if it starts to cut out, let me know and I'll go in a different room and get a better connection. Okay, so at any time, if you want to talk about anything I just said, feel free to comment. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep going. So some things, I love to share personal experiences, and these videos are I mean, they're about you and me and what's going on in our lives right now, and things that come up that are fresh, and you know, things that we wonder about. How can we do this better? Why did this happen? So I want to hear what's going on in your life right now. But in the meantime, I'm happy to share with you experiences that are going on in my life. And one that I'd like to share with you just happened today. So you're in luck. I've got a fresh one for you. So today started out wonderful. I woke up super early. I don't know why. I woke up before the alarm clock went off. Sun was up and it was a great day. And I went outside and watered all the flowers and nobody was up yet. And you know, it just feels like you have this sense of accomplishment when you're up before everybody else. So I was up and I had time to get ready and have breakfast before everyone and then make everyone else breakfast. And then I even had time to style my daughter's hair, you know, with all the curls, spend extra time making it really pretty, and she so appreciated that. So it was a really good morning. And as the day kind of progressed, kind of took a turn. And it happened when my laptop broke, and it didn't crash or anything like that. There's a piece that broke off inside the laptop so that I can't charge it anymore. So as the battery was starting to get low and I was right in the middle of this really important PowerPoint presentation that I was making, all of a sudden the whole thing just shut down because I couldn't charge it. I couldn't plug it in. So I had to run it over to the PC laptop store, and then the price that it will cost to fix it is actually more than what the computer is even worth, and it's only a couple years old. So I was trying to figure out what to do with that, and realizing I had a lot of things on that computer that were saved in my cloud, but some of them I can't open on other devices because they only are compatible with the programs and systems that are on that laptop. So I was trying to figure out, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? I've got these deadlines. I have a workshop I have to do. I have a PowerPoint I have to put together. I've got deadlines. I'm putting out an album next week, which is something really cool. I'm so excited. So I was trying to get all that music uploaded, and I had to license it, and I had to work on the artwork for it. And all of this I needed to do on that laptop. And so I was in a panic mode, and I could start to feel my vibrations going down. So it started there. So it went from uh-oh to panic to stress, right? You've been there? And I thought, no, I can't do that. I can't go there. It's not worth it. It's not going to do me any good. So I started progressing on with the rest of my day, getting the kids lunch, things like that, running some errands, trying to figure out in the back of my mind the whole time how I was going to find a way around all of this and get some solutions. And as the day progressed, I had some phone calls that weren't so positive, kind of took me down to another level. And I noticed things just kept kind of happening after that. Really, I promise you, it's like the law of attraction. I was having these things come in that weren't good, and I was focusing on how they weren't good, and then more things kept coming in that weren't good. And so I thought, okay, this is something I teach about, so let me put into practice what I preach, right? So I told myself, I'm taking a time out right now. I'm going to go into my shoe closet, which if you know me, if you follow me and you read my stuff, that is a place where I go to have quiet time with the Lord. It's where I go to get alignment. It's where I go to wrap my mind around everything. And so I went into my shoe closet, and I thought, I need 15 minutes to realign myself. So, you know, if you don't do this, I highly recommend it. I spend 15 minutes every day in my shoe closet, laying down in the dark for just 15 minutes, trying to focus on absolutely nothing. So I will just hear a sound, focus on a sound, whether it's the air conditioner or something dripping in the sink, and I will just focus on that sound and just only think about that sound, nothing else. And doing that will actually realign your vibration. So I'm realigning, and the cool part about this, if you've never tried it, is you can actually physically feel the effects that are happening. So as you're laying there, you'll start to feel muscles twitch. my thumb was twitching, then my left thumb, then my toes were twitching, and then my calves were twitching, and I can actually feel those vibrations changing. And usually only takes about 15 minutes. Right about the 15-minute mark, sometimes I'll set an alarm. Right about the 15-minute mark, hey Erica, I was feeling really good, and I thought, yes, I did it. I'm where I want to be. This is awesome. I can feel it. I'm so happy. And so as I start thinking, I'm happy now. Happy things are going to start coming into my life. Good things, good things. I hope a surprise, like a happy little surprise comes into my life right now. Right when I thought that, I kid you not, my phone rings, and I look down, and it's a number I don't recognize. Sometimes those are the best calls to take. And I answer it, and it was my realtor from 3 years ago when we sold our last home. And he had good news for me, and I hadn't talked to him in years. And he said, hey, we're just doing this customer appreciation week. And so in a couple weeks, we're reserving the entire theater in Layton, and we're going to see, Finding Dory? Yeah? And it sounds so cute. My kids were so excited. They really want to see it. And he says, bring your whole family. We reserved the whole theater, and it's the AMC theater, so you get those comfy recliner seats and treats. Everything's included. And I thought, yes, finally some good news today, right? I was so happy. And so in that moment, of course, I give thanks and I praise, and every time, just from there, good things just kept happening. Things just kept getting better. And so my own personal experience, I love to share personal experiences because it just goes to show you that even the happy lady, right? Even me, even I have moments where I get caught off guard and my vibrations get lowered and I can feel a difference. But the key here is you don't have to stay there. You don't have to stay in those lower vibrations. You don't have to say, well, guess I'm in a bad mood the rest of the day, right? Sorry, family. You don't have to stay there. You can quickly get yourself out of it. And it's a great tool that I just shared. It only takes 15 minutes. I do it every day. And I don't necessarily do it because I need alignment. I do it to stay in alignment. So if you missed what I said, go back later and watch this video. And I think that's something that will really help a lot of people. My kids are joining us, so if you can hear them crying out in the hallway, I'm so sorry. Okay, so like I said, at any time, oh yes, Jenny, try it. And you know what? I would love to hear what you think about it and how it works for you. And pay attention to the physical effects that you feel happening as your lower vibration goes up to a higher vibration. You can feel it happening. And sometimes you can gauge it off of that. And when those muscles stop twitching, you know you're done. So anyways, that's awesome. So a couple more things. I try to keep these around 20 minutes or so, and I've lost track of time. We're doing good. So, but anyways, if you have questions at any time, please ask. So there's a couple other things I wanted to talk about. So this is what happened today, but I had so many experiences this week that were just eye-openers. Like, I had some groundbreaking days, and I learned a lot this week. So I actually put together some other videos that I'll put on my Happy Lady website and on my YouTube channel that are a lot longer, like about 20 minutes or so. I have to edit it, though. It was a lot more footage than that, but just a lot of really neat things that have happened this week. So I'm learning a lot. So some other things that I want to talk about are, there's so many things, you guys. But I want to talk about the path of least resistance, because that's something I've really been focusing on this week. And I'm going to tell you what that is and what that means and how you can apply that in your own life. So have you ever had one of those days where you have this to-do list, right? And these are things you feel like you can't get out of. You've got deadlines, you've got things for your outside responsibilities outside your family, but then you've got things you've got to do inside your family with your kids, and you have to make dinner. You have all these things you have to do every day. And sometimes you wake up and you just think, I don't want to do any of these things today. Have you had one of those days? Or you think, oh gosh, this afternoon and this evening, it's not going to be fun. I have this, I have that. It's going to be so stressful. It's going to be crazy. So right away, you're already setting up your day to be crazy and to be stressful just by what you're saying about it. So as you go throughout the day, realize that to stay in alignment, because it's a fine line, but it's very doable once you figure out how to do it. sometimes we say, well, I was having a great day until, right? Until my mom called me and gave me that bad news, or until my son broke my favorite vase, or until I put a fender bender in my car. Whatever it is, we blame it on these outside influences. You know, it's things that we had no control over, or other people that caused us to have a bad day. And sometimes we do blame it on ourselves. But you have to realize that that in order to stay in alignment and have unconditional happiness, that's something I'm actually teaching a whole workshop on next week down in St. George's, unconditional happiness. And in order to have unconditional happiness, it means that no matter what's going on around us, we don't have to have a certain condition in order to be happy. So we don't have to have everything going right in our lives that day, which means you don't have to have a perfect life or be a perfect person to be happy all day. so that answers that question right there. I'm happy as often as I can be, but I can tell you it doesn't mean that my days are perfect or that they go how I want them to go. So you can have unconditional happiness by staying aligned. And how you do that is you always pick the path of least resistance. So what that means is say I have a deadline. I have to get something done, but I have two ways I can do it. I can do it through option A, or I can do it through option B. Maybe I feel like for some reason I want to get it done tonight so I can free up my week, but really I don't have to get it done for another week or so. So I'm kind of adding that stress that doesn't need to be there. Do you see what I mean? So what the path of least resistance means is that you take the path that's least stressful. So, and it makes sense, doesn't it? But it's so true. That's how you stay in alignment. So if it makes sense, you know what, if I feel like, you know what, I just need to take a nap right now. I am so tired, and yes, I have to get these things done, but I'm tired. Well, then the path of least resistance is taking the nap. So whichever path you're taking, if it feels like you are pushing against a brick wall and you are really having to struggle to go down that path, and it is difficult, then by all means, that's going to throw you off alignment. It's going to throw you off alignment, and you're going to be more negative. You're going to really struggle that day. But if there's a better path, if there's a way that you can have peace about it, and maybe put it on the back burner and get back to it another day, or take a break, go paint your toenails, go take a bath. You know, the other day I just sat down for the first time in a long time and watched a movie. I never do that unless I'm on the treadmill. And I felt really good. It's what I needed. So if you can just stay in tune with yourself and the things that you need and meet your needs and make sure you're taking care of yourself, you will stay in that alignment. And it's just like the whole principle with the oxygen masks in the airplane. If you're not giving yourself that oxygen, if you don't give that mask to yourself first, and you're trying to rescue everyone else, well, eventually you're going to run out of oxygen and you're not going to be any use to these other people. So take care of your needs. Focus on how you can stay in alignment and pick the paths that are best suited to bring you peace and to give you what you need to kind of rejuvenate you and not put you over the edge. Because anything that's going to put you over the edge or cause you to really not be yourself that day, that's the path you don't want to take. So being able to do this and realize, you know what, I don't need certain conditions to be happy. I don't have to have everything go a certain way. I could even have an honoring husband today and I can still be happy, right? So it's a choice that you make, and it's all about feelings. Feelings are what generate the vibrations. So if you can focus your feelings on being content, peaceful, loving, and you do that by just saying it in your mind and saying it out loud, you show gratitude in every moment. I'm so grateful for this day. I'm grateful for this weather. I'm grateful that that we're all healthy today and none of my kids were sick. I'm grateful that I have this time to do this video with you today. So you just focus on all that's good around you and all that you're grateful for, and you pick that path of least resistance. And you do this every day, and you're going to always find that nice balance of where you want to be and being aligned. So last I want to say about that is when you hear people talk about alignment and you think, well, what does that mean? What does it mean to be aligned? What are you being aligned with, or who are you being aligned with? I truly believe it's being aligned with God. When you want to align your will with His and be aligned with Him and be aligned with the Godhead, you have to match that alignment. You have to be in those higher frequencies. You have to be in that positive vibration. And so when you feel aligned, you are aligned. And it's one of my affirmations I say every day, is that my will be aligned with his will, so that we want the same things, so that things can happen quickly in my life, and the things that I ask for can come a lot sooner and quicker. But I know that will happen when I'm asking for things that he wants me to ask for, because we're on the same page. We have the same game plan. So anyway, just keep that in mind, that that's what you're really aligning with. Okay, sorry, I have so much to say about so many things. So if it's overwhelming, let me know. So we have a few more minutes. Let me just see here. We've got a few more minutes. We'll go a half hour. One more thing I want to talk about, and yes, I have many topics. I want to talk about your story that you're telling about yourself every day. So I mentioned earlier to be aware of the things that you're thinking and the feelings that you're feeling when you're eating food, right? Because it will make all the difference for your overall well-being. But the same goes for the way you talk about yourself every day, even when you don't even realize you're doing it. How are you telling your story? So think about it for a minute. Sometimes you'll catch yourself off guard, or you don't realize you're doing it, but you'll say things like, oh, I'm so bad at that, or I'm such an idiot, right? And when you talk about yourself that way, that's the story that you're telling. And those words that you're putting out there, again, they have frequencies attached to them. They have a vibration. And so whatever you're putting out there, that's what you're telling the world. That's what you're telling everyone who you are, and what your expectations of yourself are. And so you're saying it, and it's actually becoming your reality. You're creating that story. So you are the creator of your story every day. Now, every morning you wake up, you have a fresh start to create a whole new story. So just because you did this the day before doesn't mean you can't make it better the next day. So embrace every morning, wake up and be like, you know what? I don't care what happened yesterday. That's in the past. Today's a new day. Today I'm going to tell a better story about myself. And start looking for all the good things that you're doing right. All the things that people appreciate about you. Start focusing on those things, and then just kind of repeat that every time you see yourself in the mirror or you're alone in the car. Repeat it out loud and say, yeah, validate it. I am a good mom. I am a hot wife, right? Whatever it is, go for it. And as you start telling your story differently, realize that people, everybody around you, your children, your family, your friends, your neighbors, your coworkers, we teach them how to treat us. And not only that, but people only like us as much as we like ourselves. So that's huge. If you're putting yourself down, or you're not believing in yourself, or giving yourself enough credit, or you don't see value or worth in yourself at all, or even in just certain areas, you're telling other people that that's your truth. That's who you are. That's your story. And they're buying it. And in return, they're going to see you that way. And it's just going to create a constant cycle of you being in this story that you don't want to be in. So if we want our kids and our coworkers and our spouses to view us differently, or have higher hopes for us, right? We have to start seeing ourselves that way. Because like I said, people only like us as much as we like ourselves. So that's important. So anyways, be aware of the story that you're telling about yourself every day. Be aware, and at the end of the day, if you realize you messed up and you didn't say some nice things about yourself, or think some nice things about yourself, you have a whole nother day to start again. That's the great thing about mornings. It's a fresh start, a new slate. You can start again. And sorry, one last tip, guys. You know me. I never stop. One last tip I want to share. You'll love this. To give yourself kind of a head start for the next day, to having a better day and having the kind of day that you want, be aware of the thoughts and the things that you're putting into your mind right before you go to bed. If you are reading the headlines right before you go to bed, or talking about with your husband or wife all the bad things that happened to you that day, or all the things that made you mad, if you're watching a movie and in the movie it's negative, it's sad, it's depressing, it's violent, whatever it might be, whatever you put into your mind the last 20 minutes before you go to bed, those vibrations stay with you through the night, and when you wake up, you pick right back up where you left off the night before. So if you want to start waking up in a better place, those last 20 minutes before you go to bed are crucial. Do all that you can to put positive things into your mind. Read scriptures, pray, watch something good, watch something uplifting, write in your journal, write all the things that you're grateful for that happened to you that day. Anything you can. I've got a ton of things I do. I like to change it up every night. But do something that's going to put you in a higher vibration so that you sleep better, you have better dreams, and then when you wake up, you are in a much better place and you're bound to have a wonderful day. So, anyways, thanks for joining me today, you guys. It's been fun, and I appreciate your comments. Sorry about the connection. And next week, like I said, if you have questions between now and then, post them here. Put your comments below, and whatever I can address next week, I'll be happy to talk about. So as you go through the week and things start happening to you, or you try some of these things and you have questions, or you want to share your experiences, write me anytime during the week. Comment on this video, and we'll talk about it in next week's video. And you know, if you don't have anything for me, I'm always going to have something for you. So my list never runs dry. Anyways, thanks so much, guys. I hope you have a great night. Love you so much, and stay happy, and we'll see you soon.